Log into gyroscopeme.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio, internet radio station powered by GMG, LLC.
In the beginning, there was Jack. And Jack had a groove, and after a while, a deep sleep fell upon him, and he went looking for a new groove. He began looking for a new nation, and it had to be a soulful nation. And he found it, and it was Soulful House Nation. And he saw a building. It was a tall building. It had 10 stories, and he entered the building and got on the elevator and pushed the 10th floor, but it stopped on the 8th floor. And that's where he found his new groove. And he began to jack and jack and jack and jack. And he knew that this was it. It was Soulful House Nation on the 8th floor. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Dan Soulful House Station. I'm coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Woo! This is Soulful House Nation. Woo! Wow. It feels really great to be here. What a weekend. And oh my goodness, so many things coming. I'm going to tell you about that also. Here we go. So, as usual, we're going to do a quick recap and go back and check out our last show. Then we're going to play the hottest song according to Track Source. We're going to talk about what's coming, all the events that are coming. We're going to play a classic from this week. We're going to talk about the news and not so local, but stuff that's happening. And then we're going to do our special interview, which is with Kristen Johnson. It's pre-recorded. It's going to be fun. Now, just so you know, there's multiple ways you can catch us. Of course, there's Facebook. There's Vimeo, YouTube, let's see, X, the website. We should have Instagram, or should be shortly. You can go back and check it out on Spotify. I mean, just like a whole bunch of places. We're on a lot of platforms. And I just really, really say thank you to everybody because we're now getting over 4,000 live views a week. Last week we had 4,500 live views. So our numbers are steadily growing. So thank you so much for all that help. But now also, too, what I want to do is I want to say thank you. I always like to give a shout out to can hear the thing in there. Give a shout out to King T Finesse and also Ariel Shante, for creating our theme song. Also want to give a big shout out to Chuck Roberts out of Chicago for doing our opening drop. So it's like that. So hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's all good. And hey, as usual, we're gonna start off with the number one song from Track Source in the Soulful House category. And it is our guy, and he's interviewed on the show before, and is just an all-around great guy, dope DJ, dope producer. Of course, I'm talking about Jihad Muhammad, and he does a track with Rona Ray, and it's called Think of Me. So, as usual, we only play a little snippet because Facebook has a nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Chuck, can you play a little bit for us? Think of Me. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect, and we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, what a weekend, and what a whole bunch of stuff coming up. Oh my goodness. So listen, a few things. First of all, let's just start out by tipping our hats to Lenny Cathcart in the town of Plainfield. They did a spectacular event on Saturday. That really was the spot on Saturday. And so here, let me just share a couple things with you. Okay. The music was great. The lineup was crazy. You had Timmy Regisford. Mark Francis closed it out, and forget about it. I mean, it was like next level. DJ Spen was on the bill, and there were others, and I just don't remember everybody off the top of my head. And I apologize for that. But man, oh man, that was. But now watch this. Here's what's something that you might not have been checking for. See, nobody really talks about the sound or the sound people, unless something goes wrong. But I'm going to talk about the sound because the sound went right. Norm was on it. Norm was on the scene. I got to tell you, that sound system was kicking. That sound system was incredible. Oh my goodness, it was incredible. And then, some sound systems can be very loud, but hard to listen to because maybe the frequencies are right or something. But he had that just so. I mean, the sound system was kicking. It was booming, but it was clean sound. Hey, so big shout out to him. As you know, he does the sound, he does the stuff there on the Dollhouse with Sage and them. Then, on top of that, they had the light show of light shows. Okay, now, they had fireworks, but let me just tell you about the light show. The light show, I mean, to be fair, I've never seen that before. And And that was a nice little innovation. And what happened was the lights would go up, the lights, and the next thing you'd see is you see the name of the city, you know, Plainfield House Community, and just different things on there. And if you check out my live, you'll see some of the stuff. I was able to get different angles on it. But I got to tell you, that was really, really nice. That was like, and I'm a guy who's been around this stuff. I've been around sound all my career. I've been DJing all my career. And I've been around a lot of light shows and video walls, and we were doing video screens and light shows back in the 80s before it was even a thing. Light shows, intelligent lighting, but I never saw that before, and I just want to, I said, that's all right. Okay, wait a minute, gets better. So a big shout out to Lenny Cathcart, the mayor, and the council people who did that event on Saturday. And the other thing too, you should know that they didn't just do it to do it. And you know, and there's nothing wrong to do an event, but what was really, really nice about it and really, really brought to the next level is that it was to bring prostate awareness. Now, if you followed me for some time, you know I've interviewed Lenny and Clayton Knight, who are prostate cancer survivors. And so, unlike many people, they have come out and said it, where a lot of people, you know, maybe not so comfortable bringing that up in public. But not only have they brought it up, but they've advocated for it, and they had 100 people test on Saturday to check and see if they had prostate cancer or not, or at least the signs or the, I guess the indicators, maybe your numbers go up or something like that. That's how it happens, something like that. And I will bet you, out of 100 people, there were some people either had it or the numbers were being of concern. And the problem with it is that, like, you really don't know it's happening most of the time, or you miss the signs. In many cases, until it's too late, and you know people pass away from it. But it's very treatable, especially if you have awareness. So anyway, I'm going to look to see if I can get them again, Lenny and Clayton, because they're always willing to talk about it, and especially too on the Keep It Real side. This is the community, this is the age range where this kind of thing can happen. Also, too, what I'm going to do and commit to now also is I'm going to get some people on who are breast cancer survivors, and also to speak on that. Because if we keep it real for just a hot minute, you know that's an issue in our community. So I just wanted to share that with you. And yeah, let's go from there then. All right. Okay. So congratulations, big ups to Lenny and the whole team that put that together. Okay. Some other things that are happening. Today, as you know, I'll be playing Shazam Free Zone. I'm going to introduce all new music. And some of the people that you should be aware of are going to be in that segment are people that we know we have relationships with. I'm going to have Jihad Muhammad in there. Momo's got a track. Mickey Affleck, DJ Exotic, KGB, with Dr. J and those guys like that. So he got a lot of stuff there. Okay, now, more dates. September 27th, I will be on KMTV, and this event, this session, I'm just going to play all ladies. I'm going to play all ladies in house. I'm going to play all ladies, straight up, all ladies. So check that out. It's going to be all ladies. And again, this is part of my effort to acknowledge, recognize, and increase the awareness of how much the ladies in our genre and our community have made such a difference in this community. And of course, we'd be nowhere without them, those female vocals, producers, etc. So this Friday, it's going to be all about the ladies for me. Okay, then September 28th, I'm going to be in Amistad Park. I'm going to be DJing house music. That's in Patterson, along with DJ Manchild. We may sneak another DJ in there, working on that now. But we're going to be at the Amistad Park in Patterson. Going to be playing house music. Then on the 28th that night, I'll be on board with DJ Sean Lover and Chill X. I'll be playing there at the Dream in Linden on Elizabeth Avenue. So I'm excited about that. Then on September 12th, no. Next week, our special guest will be Ricky Clark. And you know he's going to be doing the exchange thing. The date for that is October 5th. So we're going to have a full-blown interview with Ricky Clark. And I'm going to reveal some things about Ricky Clark and his connection to me that you may not be aware of. No, you're probably not aware of. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. Okay. Then on the 12th, I will be at I'll be one of the DJs at the 60th birthday party for Africa, and Africa the Dancer, not the continent, in case anybody was wondering, the Dancer. And Mac Attack has been gracious enough to put me on that ticket with him, and D-Boy's going to be on the ticket, and it's going to be really good. It's going to be a 257 Aldine. So we're gonna take over. It's going to be a takeover that day with the Mac Attack and friends. So then on the 16th, I will be on the Dollhouse. I'll be playing house music there. Now I'm going to tell you what. When I play the Dollhouse, I'm going to play some familiar, but I'm going to introduce you to new tracks. But also too, I'm going to play tracks from some of our locals that you might have missed. Because unfortunately, maybe we don't get enough love on our locals, but again, some dope music. Okay, so to give you an idea, I'm gonna name a few names that are gonna be on there. I'm gonna have Anaya Weathers. I'm playing her music. I'm playing Carmen Brown. Goodness gracious, that's on that side. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple more. Some other people that we know. I'm gonna have some stuff by Mark Francis. I got some stuff. Goodness. Oh my goodness, I got a lot of stuff. I can't even tell you everything right now, but I'm gonna have a lot of stuff. I'm gonna play a lot of stuff, and then I'm gonna play stuff that's from other people. That you okay, I'm gonna give you one more, and then I'm gonna play some more stuff from locals, but I'm gonna play some stuff from people that are out of the place. David Barber has some dope tracks, so it's gonna be like that kind of. So we're gonna play. That's gonna be when I go to the Dollhouse. I'm gonna play some of our local heroes, and also to some other stuff. So it's gonna be a good time on that. Now. A couple other things that are happening. November 8th, House the Runway. House the Runway is doing an event. And that's going to be the Brokers Reunion. But let me tell you something what's a little bit different. All right. So what is happening there is that it's not being done in the usual places. So if I'm the unusual suspect, he's the unusual suspect too. And I say that because it's going to be the first time ever for our audience, that mostly Essex County, Union County, Hudson County. It's going to be in Passaic County. No, I'm sorry, Bergen County, at the Saddlebrook at the Crown Plaza. So it's going to be like that. So that's going to be, forget about it, all right? Then on the 15th and the 16th, you got SMB, 10-year anniversary. 10-year anniversary. He's been doing this for 10 years. And they're going to go black. Scorpios are going to go black. And it's got a crazy lineup. I mean, you got Jihad Muhammad, Naeem Johnson, DJ Mustafa, D-Boy, Antoine Qua, and you have Kia Stewart performing. So it's like, forget about it. Listen, we're closing this thing out hard this fall season. And I'm really looking forward. So this Friday, check us out on KMTV live. We're going to be playing only female house music artists. This Saturday, I'm going to be in Amistad Park in Patterson. And then Saturday night, I'm going to be at The Dream, Elizabeth Ave in Linden with DJ Sean Lover and Chill X. The 12th, the birthday, 60th birthday for Africa. Thank you, Mac. The 16th, I'm going to be at the Dollhouse. Thank you, Sage and Bilal. So again, it's going to be crazy, 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 crazy. All right. So listen, let's do this, Chuck. Let's play our old school track, but only a little bit because Faith's got this nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Okay. So. All right, we're gonna phase it out. Facebook has this nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. But you get the story here. So what we want to do, hey Chuck, we want to do that interview that we did with Kristen Johnson. She's a filmmaker, a documentarian, just a lot of good stuff. Very, very talented. And what we want to do is we want to play it. So Chuck, I'm ready if you're ready. He's ready. Get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I am DJ Dan, Soulful Hot Station, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. And we have a great one today. Oh my goodness, we got another one. Today, our special guest is Kristen Johnson. Kristen, how are you?
I am great. I am doing quite well.
Great.
No complaints here from New York City.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
Well, just so everybody can meet you, just tell us a little bit about you. Yeah.
Well, a little bit about me would be I am a native New Yorker. I have worked in the film business for a little under 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I've worked in a variety of capacities in the film industry. Mm-hmm. And, my desire to want to do a story or tell a story about house music extends from the fact that I have my background is in film. Okay. So I began the process and I began telling the story in 2021. My version of the house music community.
Okay.
And so yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I'm from New York City.
Now, how did you get started with the music? Because, let's pretend for a minute you predate house music. Just for a minute. How did you get started, or what was your first connection or exposure to music?
Oh, my first exposure to music?
Yeah.
In general in my lifetime?
Yeah.
I would say 5 years old, 6 years old.
Okay.
In the family.
Okay.
My family.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you mean in terms of just general exposure to music, at a very, very young age, young age. Music has always been the heartbeat of my life. Always. Not house music. I mean, I was introduced to house music, I think I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And since I'm from New York City, my first exposure to house music was Paradise Garage. I hadn't been there as many times as a lot of friends and people that I know. that are house heads. But yeah, the Paradise Garage actually dramatically changed my social life. I was never big on going to commercial clubs to begin with, but once I was exposed to the Paradise Garage, it infected me, so to speak. It absolutely infected me, went right into my bloodstream.
Oh, I get it.
Took over my body, and that was at a very young age. So yeah, but I have not worked in the music business, so to speak. My experience is purely in the film business and TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's interesting, I have been to music. Well, my family influences were Aunt Seal and Aunt Bert. And like my parents really didn't care for music that much, so I didn't really come from a musical home. So with Aunt Seal and Aunt Bert, that's what was the ones for me. Now, but listen to this. At some point, you mentioned you got into house music. So you've been into it probably from the door, or at least,
No, actually not. Absolutely not from the beginnings.
Okay.
That was in the beginnings are in the 70s.
Okay.
I came to appreciate house music more in the late 80s, towards the tail end of the Paradise Garage.
Gotcha.
And I think I had been to Zanzibar's maybe twice. But like I said, it just took those few exposures to the culture, to the people, and to the music, and to the DJs that absolutely turned me around socially. And it just became part of my social life, so to speak. But that time period intersected with, me just starting to work in the film business. So there was a long stretch of time where I was not social. I was just working. I was freelancing in film, working on a variety of feature films in New York and throughout. So I really didn't have time to party or socialize. But the music, like I said, it never left me. So sometime in the late 2014, 15, I can't remember exactly who directed me to go to an outdoor event in New Jersey. But once that happened, then I realized just how widespread the culture was throughout the state of New Jersey. That was my go-to. That was my immediate go-to. It was like New Jersey is a neighboring state. So it was easy for me to get to. And then, obviously I had I had friends that would travel to New Jersey. And, it just became something that was an activity that was absolutely overwhelmingly joyous. And I just had the time. At that particular time, I wasn't working as much. I think I was going through a divorce.
Okay.
And that was a great opportunity for me to put both my hands and my feet and my everything into this culture and this community. And it was probably sometime in 2017, 2018, I started filming a lot. Not particularly with the idea to do a film, but I wanted to have this footage, right? And it was probably sometime before the pandemic, a couple of years before the pandemic, that I decided that I wanted to actually tell a story. And I just started to jot down some notes and just think long and strong about it. And when the pandemic hit, I decided to pull the trigger on my idea.
Gotcha.
And I gathered up some of my film friends and pitched the idea to them. And immediately they loved it. And we just began to pool our financial resources together, because I didn't ask anybody for funding. So it was a self-funded project. And we began the process of, putting it together. I developed it. It was my idea as to how I wanted to tell a story, and I just needed help.
Gotcha.
So it went from that. It went from the idea to actually manifesting a short film called The Music Got Me.
Gotcha.
And it took a group of us to kind of brainstorm and figure out what we wanted to name the story. And I'm not remembering correctly if it was Sting International or me that had the idea at the same time, or possibly it was Sting that said Music Got Me. And I think, we talked it over. We had a variety of titles in our head for the film. But I remember saying this thing, once somebody says the title and it clicks, that's what it's going to be. And The Music Got Me was thrown out there, and I said, that's it. And, we realized that's the title of an actual house music track, The Music Got Me by Boy Jarvis.
Okay.
So we knew we'd get down the line, we were going to have some legal issues, but we decided we'll deal with that when we need to deal with that. But The Music Got Me, we felt was a perfect fit for the story that I wanted to tell. Perfect fit, So, yeah.
Well, interesting. It's funny you say that when it's right, it clicks. So Soulful House Nation came to me, and I was sitting in this gentleman's office who was kind of a graphic artist type guy, and I had the idea clicked, and I said, okay, let's look up the domain name, and boom, it was available. I said, you know what, that's it. I got you. When it's right, it clicks. Where's house music headed?
I think house music is in a really, really good place nationwide and globally for a lot of reasons. The main reason why I think it's in a good place is the young community, the younger community. The older community, I think, is doing a pretty decent job, at least here on the East Coast, passing the knowledge, passing on the experiences, and passing on the culture to the younger generation. Once that happens, the genre house music will thrive. It will continue to thrive. It will change, it will change. There will be changes. But I think soulful house music is safe because I've had a number of conversations with some notable DJ producers that they're making sure they mentor the young men and women, because there are a number of young ladies out there, honing their skills, so to speak, not just DJing, but also wanting to produce. And there's also singer-songwriters that their specific genre is house music,
right.
And producing house music tracks. And then you got to keep in mind that there's a dance community, and that's really what my film is about. It's a film about the relationship between DJs, DJ producers, and dancers, and what that looks like, what that feels like, and also what the film is about. Well, the short film, that's what it was about. But the larger piece that I'm in the process of developing and raising money for, which is still going to be called The Music Got Me, is going to be a docuseries. That's going to be about. It's going to be about much more than just the relationship between the DJs and the dancers. It's going to be. We'll exhibit profiles on certain DJs and producers. We will be interviewing dancers. We will really jump into what house music means to people right now in the 21st century, how it's affected people's lives, mentally and physically, and what this whole phenomenon of house music has always been about. The history of house music will come through the mouths of the people that are involved with it right now today. I will be using some, stock footage, but this is not a specifically historical piece on the history of house music. This is a very entertaining, soulful, sexy story about what's going on in the house music community nationwide in the United States, as well as globally, specifically soulful house music. It's a very thriving community, and it's also a traveling film, because what I want to do is tell the story of what's going on city by city in the United States, because there's different flavors.
Right.
Different DJs interpret through their mixes what their feel of house music is all about. So you go to different places and you experience house music in a different, soulful house music in a different way.
Right.
As well as Afro. There are various veins of soulful house music. So I just want to give the audience a very nice flavor of what's happening here in the United States with this thing called house music, and really tell a very expansive story about the culture and the community. There's a whole community out there that really enjoys this music and enjoys coming together to share the joy of this genre of music called house music, soulful house music. Right. So the story needs to be told. Story needs to be told from our perspective, our meaning the Black perspective. As we all noted, house music traveled all throughout the world, and it's been interpreted in different ways from different communities, right? And I think it's important that we control the narrative of who's telling the story. The foundation of house music comes right out of the gay community, the Black gay community from the 70s, right? So we can't lose sight of the fact that we are the engineers and the architects of a genre of music, just like jazz, just like R&B, just like rock and roll, right? So I think, and my small team agrees with me, we all agree that, it's important that we control the narrative and tell our stories, very specific, personal stories of the community of house music and the culture of house. It's a culture, just like hip hop has a culture, hip hop has a community. House music runs along that same pathway, and there's a journey to it. There's a beautiful journey to it, right? With beautiful people, beautiful voices, beautiful stories.
Well, I just want to share a few things with you. First of all, I got to tell you, just along those lines, I've done close to 300 full interviews with house music people. But just so you know, if that's of any use to you, let's have a conversation. Sure. And certainly I'm no filmmaker or whatever. I'm just a guy who does interviews, and hopefully I'm exposing also to another part is giving a point of view of whoever I'm interviewing, because there's multiple points of view. So let me just share something with you and how I kind of break it down. So if you look in the community and you look at the elements, you've got the dancers, you've got the DJs, you've got the artists, you got the producers, you have the promoters, you have the fashion people, because we have a look, just like hip hop has a look, just like goth, the goths have a look. You have vendors and security. That right there, that's eight different perspectives. And I've had to change. Let's not forget the sound people, because nobody can sing that loud. So you got 8, 9 different perspectives that you could take this from, and you could break it down like that. So I'm glad to hear that you're looking at it from multiple perspectives. That's very, very, very positive as far as I'm concerned. But when you started coming out to these events, I would see you taking, no, I don't think, and I certainly didn't know, that you had this whole thing going on. So, let me tell you when I realized it. When I realized it is when we were in Montclair. I said, wait a minute, hold it. This is no this is no ordinary thing here. This is some amazing stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now,
Yes.
you kind of said it, but where are some of the locations that you've been, and where do you want to take this in terms of, let's pretend it's 5 years down now, you're fully funded, everything's not coming out of Hip National Bank. I mean, tell us what you see.
Well, what I see right now is a story that's going to be told domestically. This is going to be, because the story of house music is not just in the United States,
Right.
throughout the world. It's in Japan, it's in Germany, it's in Australia, it's in the UK. It's everywhere. It really is. It's everywhere. It's in Croatia. You know, we don't always realize, we meaning Black folks and people that are the house heads that are right here in this country, don't always realize just how long the arm of soulful house music really is and how much it's loved, truly loved. I mean, you go overseas and you experience house music in a different way. They're not as much dance oriented, unless it's in the smaller venues, as we are here in the United States. Dancing is really, really important. And I say that only because, you know, the venues that are in overseas, these are huge venues. And the amount of people that come out, you know, you generally see some of the videos and people are just standing right in front of the DJ and they're just kind of grooving and moving their body. But you don't see the dance circles like you see here in Baltimore and Philadelphia and New York, Chicago, New Jersey, you know. And let me just quickly, before I forget, maybe you're not going to ask me this question, but I want to kind of pivot to what my main inspiration to do this story was and is. And it is the state of New Jersey, because of what I experienced in 4, 5, 6 years, you know, going into Jersey and going and experiencing a lot of the events with different DJs, different dance circles. I got to know some of the dancers, and in knowing some of the dancers, at a certain point, I was actually interviewing, but they didn't know it. I was just watching. I was watching who was doing what, and I just kept my mouth shut. And I kept my mouth shut in terms of what I was doing. I didn't want people to really know what I was doing. I just wanted people to be who they are, and I wanted to, you know, record this or film this footage, go back home and take a look at what I was doing and then figure out exactly how I wanted to navigate the story and the storyline. And that took a while. I was taking my time, you know, but New Jersey and the New Jersey events was a big inspiration. Of course, the other inspiration was just my love, my absolute love of the genre and how it made me feel. So, you know, the other part is I just really wanted to share, and still do, want to share it via storytelling, you know, how this music and how this community makes me feel. And if it makes me feel this way, I'm sure it'll make other people feel this way as I tell a story.
Well, let me ask you this. What lessons have you learned along the way, and what gets you most excited about this thing? And keep in mind, you mentioned Afro, because originally it was soulful house is the original house music, and everything is a descendant of that. Now, in our community, what we mostly hear is soulful, Afro, and gospel house more and more. Sometimes you'll hear like a techish song, but for the most part, that's where we are. So, but my question to you is, you know, what challenges have you faced along the way, and what gets you most excited about this thing?
Well, I'll deal with the first question first, which is what are the challenges? The biggest challenge that I've encountered in doing this project is money.
Ooh.
Money.
Okay.
Everything else is I can deal with.
Gotcha.
You know, everything, you know, my background is in, you know, working in the film business, so I have a pretty good understanding not an expert, but I do have an understanding of how you put together a story and how you put together a project, and all of the organizing, elements that go along with that. There's a lot of things that take place behind the scenes that most people won't see. It's just like putting together a music event. There's a lot of moving pieces, lots of moving pieces.
Yes.
And I would say this: it's the money is challenging for any artist. The second thing is trying to get people together. Everybody's got very busy schedules. When I did the short film, The Music Got Me, patience was something that I had to learn, because you have to wait for people to become available. I was lucky enough to land the interview with Masters at Work, Louis Vega and Kenny Dope Gonzalez. Donna Edwards is in it. I also interviewed Amir Brooks and Sting International, and one very unknown young DJ out of Long Island. But I had to wait for I had to wait for these people to be available. And then when they were available, something changed, and then just putting together the crew with almost zero budget, and depending and relying on the people that said they were going to help me finance this, that they actually did it. And I was blessed in that area, because these are people I work with in the film business and friends, so those are the challenges: scheduling, and finances.
Gotcha.
The thing that keeps me going is I love to tell a story. And the fact that the music really still does a lot for me. I still very much enjoy it. And the culture is just very exciting and full. And, I'm just passionate about it. And I think any artist and anybody that wants to tell a story, or in whatever medium, whether it's telling a story via your mixing as a DJ and a producer, or writing a book, this is different, because I want to tell a story with images. I want to tell a story, a documentary series story, and go through the process of really getting involved with talking about the community and the culture and the music itself. So what's going to be very important to me is pristine sound as we're recording it. Besides just filming it, right. And really getting some really great information by the interviews. When I started this out, I had a very impressive wish list of DJs and producers that I wanted to interview. And I'm still seeking out dancers. Every city we go to, I'm going to rely on the DJs and producers that I interview to target who those great dancers are. Dancers are really, really important to this story, because dancers are very important to the genre of house music, period. And the other thing that inspired me to do this was I haven't seen a story like this, where somebody's telling a story about a variety of different places in a country. And then once I find success, and I will find success with this domestic story, we fly across the world. And we start, doing, obviously you have to do the research before you go over there, but telling the story of what soulful house music, what it looks like overseas. It's a whole nother vibe, whole nother community. I mean, there's similarities, obviously,
right?
But the language is different. They interpret it differently, and I just think it's really important to get this story out there, and for people to really want to tune in to the story. That's not going to be an easy task, because you have to hit certain marks, right. You just have to, so I'm not in this by myself. Right. My team is growing, and I will have people that are well versed and skilled, very skillful people that come from the music community, from the music industry, and as well in in film. You know, I need help. You know, I mean, it was my idea. I started this. I did the film. I directed it, produced it. You know, and it's an all black production, by the way. I'm proud of that. I mean, I didn't actually specifically set out to do it that way, but knowing me, it was going to be that way. You know, and I'm proud of that. You know, so I'm still looking for and researching producers and DJs and dancers throughout the country, right? And you one of your questions you asked about 5 minutes ago is where I've been. So I've traveled from Chicago to Philadelphia to Baltimore to obviously New Jersey, New York. And I haven't hit Los Angeles yet, but that's definitely one of my stops with particular DJs and producers that I like to interview.
Okay. Hey, listen, as we come in for a soft landing, you know, in terms of what you've learned in doing this, if you had to say, hey, Dan, here's the 2 biggest things I've learned, or here's the 3 biggest things I've learned, what would you say, if anything?
That's a good question. I think the first thing that pops in my head is patience. I've learned to be patient. I've learned to not doubt myself as much as I did at the onset of this project.
What does that mean?
I went in full steam ahead, but there were moments that I doubted that I could pull this off.
Okay.
You know?
Gotcha.
And then, but you know, that, you know, the fact that it's really important that you have a core group of people that believe in you, that know you well, and that can help you. You know, there's not one artist on the planet, I don't care what the medium is, whether it's theater, music, film, doesn't matter, that doesn't get help. We all need help.
Right.
We all need help in co-creating, you know, these things that we want to put out there. You know, so I think I had the core group of people that I started out with didn't allow me to be too doubtful. They believed in it. And when I felt that doubt in my quiet times, I would actually pick up the phone and call that friend. And we would have that powwow. We would have that conversation. And by the end of that 15 minutes, it dissipated. It just dissipated. You know, it did. You know, but I think the biggest thing I learned, I think artists, that is a big deal for us to be patient, you know, and because you're going to learn and you're going to learn new things all the time. You know, there's certain things about the process of making a film or even a documentary, docu-series that I don't know. You know, I come from working in the film industry, but I don't know everything.
Right.
You know, so you have to really be open to learning new things from new people, so you can be better equipped to tell a very good story, structure it well, and you know, and just be able to tell a really, really good story. And that's really, really important to me, that I tell a very good story, a very engaging story, a story that people are going to want to tune into and be very interested. I want that group of people out there in the world that don't know anything about house music to want to tune in again and again.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting about what you're saying is that there's this whole world out there that's really not up on house music. You know, house music is as American as rock and roll. It's as American as hip hop. It's as American as jazz, and we have a nice deep history. Even if you look in and say, okay, well, where did that sound come from? Well, you know, as disco was sort of waning, you know, they started putting these different things, and then when the drum machines came out, forget about it.
Right.
It was on a whole new level. But you know what, this goes to show you that the guys who are making, like, no reference to men or women, just a generic statement. But there were, I mean, nobody, it wasn't like a situation where, well, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to learn that. No, these guys were sitting in their bedrooms or whatever, or in their studios, and they just had these ideas, and they tried
Literally,
these ideas.
exactly.
And that's really, and think about this for a minute, all right? So, all, I'm going to say overground / mainstream starts underground. If you think about it, it starts underground. House music is one of those stories that started underground, and that thing is rising. It's like that beast is coming out of the cave. It's coming out of the cave. And again, just since I know about house music, again, from the door. I used to be embarrassed to say this, but I'm not embarrassed anymore. Well, the first time I ever heard people talk about house music, I thought that was music that you played in the house. That's
right. I've heard other people say that.
Yeah. So I used to be embarrassed to say that, but now I'm not embarrassed. But the thing about it is that, again, here's these people sitting in their houses, sitting in their bedrooms, got these new machines that when originally they weren't even invented for house music. And somebody said, let me try this. Let me try this. That's all about it. I just want to go to one other thing here. I know we're going to come down to the wire. But you mentioned, and I've had this conversation multiple times. Okay, so you mentioned that there's younger people, bringing younger people in, it's the lifeblood of it. And you also mentioned there are going to be some changes. So the thing becomes, okay, if you're willing and you want this thing to grow, hey, they're going to bring a different flow to it. They got to remember, many of these younger people like us, not necessarily you in terms of the come out the background, but many of them came out of a hip hop background. Right. Many of them still have a certain thing, and they've done different things here and there. But this thing has evolved, and here's the proof. In the 80s, there was a sound. In the 90s, there was a sound. In the 2000s, there was a sound. You hear people talk about the heyday was in the 90s. Well, there's certain people say that. But again, we're bringing the younger people in, and now we're going to have another sound in the 2020s. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see. And every
decade has a sound.
Exactly.
Every decade has a theme to it. Mm-hmm. And it usually follows along the lines of what's going on socially, politically, and so on. That's just natural. That's just the way it is. That's just the way life is. Mm-hmm. If you look back to the music that came out of the 60s and 70s, and then look at what was going on in the world and in the country, right? It mimicked it. So, and the thing is that we're not bringing young people in; they're coming in. They grew up listening to their parents or their aunties or whatever, and they made a conscious decision that they like this music. They like it. I think the generation that's in there, the young people that are in their 20s and like their early 20s, mid 20s,
like us. Okay,
right. They love the music. They love the music from the 70s and 80s. They love the music. They're going back and doing the research. So the thing is, everything changes. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Right. So, the people that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s that love the music, that's fine. But the people that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, they're coming right behind you. They're going to reinterpret it in their own way. I think the basis and the foundation of soul will not change, because soul is soul. Right. You can't. R&B is R&B. Hip hop's hip hop. Jazz is jazz. Rock and roll is rock and roll. So, but these genres do, take flight. They will definitely change. Just like the times change. You can't change that. Right. It's going to be what it's going to be, and God bless them for doing it. But there are a number of young people in their 20s and their late 20s and their early 30s that are DJing and producing, and they've been mentored. They understand what this music is. They understand the history, right? And they feel it. This is, it's not just a line when people say house music's a feeling. It's a spiritual thing. You can't take the Baptist church and the music that comes out of that church. You can't take anything away from that type of music. It's always going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be soulful. This is all about. It's going to be soulful, and these young people have soul, just a DJ, 17 years old. The way that young man moves and the way he interprets the way he mixes and the selections that he makes, it's like, where did you come from?
Right.
It's in him. He's going to spread the joy, to people that are his age and a little bit older. He's just begun. Right. He has just begun.
Right.
And you can tell he really enjoys it. And I think that's an ingredient of DJing and producing that's not talked about. You must love this. You've got to maintain a certain level of passion about the art that you spread to the people, that you give to the people. An artist that loses passion loses.
Right.
And so does the audience. You have to maintain a certain level of passion. Passion is everything.
Right.
Belief in something that you're doing is everything. So I'm glad and I'm happy about my journey with this story, that I still have the passion to want to tell a story and the passion to want to travel to different places, interview, do the research, and really put out a fantastic story about what soulful house music is all about in this country and throughout.
As we wind down, any final thoughts or anything that you really want to make sure that everybody walks away from this conversation and understanding, feeling, seeing the promise, anything that you want to walk away with?
That's a good question. That's a good closing question. I think it's really, really important for the house music community throughout the country. We'll just deal with the country right now. To continue to support DJs and producers, to continue to go out and attend the events, whether they're venues outside or inside. That's the only way the culture is going to maintain its vitality and excitement. It's really important that not only the events are supported, but filmmakers, storytellers, people that have magazines, anybody that's doing anything connected to wanting to share the story of house music, to be supported, from the littlest person or the person that has a small idea to somebody that that's fortunate enough to get a movie deal, not just a docuseries, but an actual movie deal to want to tell the story, but support the genre, support the people that continuously putting on events, and support storytellers in all different, imaginative ways. Everybody needs the support, and it's really important. It's very important.
Fantastic. Let me just piggyback off what you're saying. Especially about the passion part. For the most part, but people say, "Oh, there's no money in house music." I hear that a lot, but for average Joe and Jane, average Billy Bob, and there's no music in hip hop. There's no music. No money in hip hop. There's no money in R&B. So really, but really, in a way, if you think about it, maybe there is, but you have to get to a certain level. For example, if you look at some of the biggest names, I'm sure that do this for a living, they do okay. I'm not saying that they're all whatever, but I'm sure they do okay. So I just want to dispel that rumor that there's no future in it, there's no money in it, because there is money. And there's multiple ways to make money in this community. And
Right.
look at that. You know, I do in this community, I really do three things. I do the interviews, which most people know me for that. But my first love is DJing. I've been DJing for many, 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 many moons. That's my first love. And the second part, on the passion part, at this point, I'm not doing it for the money. So you got a whole bunch of people who are in this and it's straight passion driven because, hey, maybe they're not making a lot of money, but they love this thing so much that they're willing to sacrifice it. I heard that kind of come through, especially as you look to raise funds and things of that nature. Finally,
Well, let me just say something. Let me just say something about what you just said.
Mhm.
You know, when you're passionate about something, you know, we all have to eat. We all have to make money to pay the bills. But, you know, passion doesn't necessarily have to be in the same sentence as struggling and giving something up. If you're passionate about something, that's what you do. You know, and you love something, you know, everything else tends to get taken care of. You know, but if you're passionate about something and all your biggest goal is to just make, you know, a load of money, then that's something else. You know, passionate people do passionate things, and it reverberates throughout communities. You know, so there's a lot to be said about that. You know, there's no money in this for me in telling this story. At least I don't see that on the horizon right now. You know, I've been spending my own money and I've been borrowing money from other people, you know, but I want to do this. I want to tell this story. And I do have other stories in my cadre of stories, you know, but when you first start doing something, you have an idea to do something, you know, unless you're just a very commercially driven person and it's all about the money. And I'm not saying I don't want to make money. Obviously, I do want to make money, but I'm passionate about wanting to tell this story. And I will do a variety of things in order to do that, legally, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and talk to the people I need to talk to ad nauseum. You know, so that's where I'm going with this. I'm not going to let this go. You know, doing a film, doing a documentary, doing a video, it takes a lot. I realize that a lot of people don't understand that. You know, in talking to so many people over the years, you know, the first thing they want to know is when's it coming out? You know, so I was able to pull off and do the short film in a relatively short period of time. You know, but that was even a process. Gotcha. You know, started in 2020, towards the end of 2020 into 2021. By the end of 2021 into 2022, I had the first screening in New York. 2023, it was accepted into the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. And then I put it into a couple of other smaller festivals, you know, but at this point, I am in fundraising mode. Need to raise money to actually do the production of a docuseries, and that costs money. And I'm not spending my own money for that. There's a whole lot of money out there, and I want some of it. You know, I need to pay the right people to do. You know, I need to pay professional people to do what I need to be done. Gotcha. You know, we're going to travel. You know, there's no actors involved. It's a docuseries, but it's music rights cost a lot. It's a financial undertaking, you know. So, but I'm not gonna let that stop me.
Gotcha. Well, like I say, this is the kind of business. At least in the beginning, you run it from Hip National Bank. That's how that works.
I like that.
Once you, but you know, once you catch fire, forget about it. And then all of a sudden they go, "Oh yeah, I knew you would do it, Kristen. I knew you had it." Yeah. Where were you when I was like, listen, how do I make... And then, you know what, me too, I love to have food with my meals. So, you know, you have to, you do have to make things happen.
Right.
A lot of things to balance. If people want to support you, keep up with you, follow you, how do they do it?
I have a website, musicgotme.com. That's probably the best way to get in touch with me. It's a fully loaded website. Contact information is there. Email address is kmjfilmworks@gmail.com. But the website's probably the best way, themusicgotme.com. And that will direct you to other social media platforms.
Hey, this is fantastic. Hey, again, I saw you for years out there for several years out there. And I didn't really think much of it. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean, I didn't realize that you had the bigger picture going on here.
Yeah, still do.
But you at Lincoln Park, you had professional chairs and all the kind of good. I said, all right.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm interviewing on the spot too. Yeah, I've been doing that as well. Yeah. And there's a lot of other things I just do behind the scenes that I need to do for the larger project.
Got you. Hey, listen, let me just leave you with this. I've interviewed in shows almost 300 people. Not to mention hundreds of video clips. If I can help you, and if there's somebody you want to get to, and I have access to them, we can make that connection.
That would be fantastic.
Okay. I'm a phone call.
I welcome that.
Well, email is not as fast, but if you send me an email, I'm sure like you, I get literally 300, 400, 500 emails a day.
Wow.
And so if you send me an email, make sure you say, hey, Dan, check your email. Then I'll do it.
Right. Well, you have my number.
Huh? Yeah.
My number.
Phone call, text message, way, anything I can help you with to try to push the effort forward. I understand the concept of patience.
Right.
That so, and then to the networking and connection. So,
right.
Kristen,
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Kristen, just want to say thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And, again, anything I can help you with, I'm a phone call, text message away. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is DJ Dan, Soulful Hot Station. I'm coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Get ready. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Mm-hmm.